You guys can unmute if you want.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Alana. Hey,
I
Paul, you can
see
unmute if you
myself
want.
on the YouTube. It's like I don't like it.
Hi.
How you doing?
I don't want to be on the TV yet. I'm frozen on TV. I got the YouTube on at the same
Hold on,
time.
hold on. All right, I'll pin
Uh,
myself. Now you should go. Now it'll go away. I pin myself. I'll pin the rabbi.
okay.
He goes on.
Well, how is everybody?
Fine, thank you. Very good.
On the YouTube. It's like I don't like it. I
It should be gone by now. Just fast forward it.
don't want to be on the TV yet. Oh, it's playing. Okay. See, it's a delayed reaction. I
Yeah,
see.
right. Yeah. There's a delay. Yeah.
Oh, good.
How is
Okay.
everybody?
Now you're going. Now you only see me.
Okay, good.
Hi, Luna. Hi, Doreen.
Hi, Rita. How are you, honey?
Good, hon. How was your trip?
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, here's a rabbi. Let me get rid of me and let the rabbi pin him.
Right. Okay. See, it's a delayed reaction.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm gonna mute this
And I'm
thing.
gonna
Hold on.
mute everybody. Oh, no, sorry. Mute. Hi, Rabbi. Unmute. Rabbi, you gotta unmute yourself.
Let's roll the tape back. Hello, how are you?
There you go. Good. How are you?
Well, I sent it to you twice, so I don't have to say it next week. I'm joking. Okay, am I opening Zoom meetings? Let's open Zoom.
No, you're all set. No, you're all set. You're in. You're where you have to be. Don't open anything.
Okay,
You're good.
I don't want to leave the meeting. All right, Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. Thank you so much. The Omer is winding down, and am I on? I'm on. The Omer is winding down, and in conservative practice, anytime from Lag BaOmer on, which is Lamed Gimel, which is the 33rd day of the Omer, which is about the time that that's the only, you could do two things on Lag BaOmer. You can get married or you can get a haircut. Haircuts are cheaper. And my father would offer me a friendly hint, David, your hair's long, get a haircut. So I don't think I fought him about that. I just went ahead and did it. But the conservative practice is that from Lag BaOmer on, you can ignore the Omer, because the whole point of the Omer, and it's only one of several stories. First it was the harvest. It wasn't the harvest season, but it was the season between Pesach, when the harvest begins, and Shavuot, which is the middle of the harvest, culminating in Sukkot. And there are some scholars who believe that the whole point of the big three, Pesach, Sukkot, and Shavuot, is because they are related to the harvest. And the harvest is very important, especially in a country like Israel, where rainfall is very few and far between. That's why the Israelis have done wonderful things with desalination tanks. And also, on the other hand, Egypt, the Nile, where they lived for 400 years, according to tradition, they could depend on the Nile to rise every year, and that would irrigate the soil. That is why, to this day, the majority of Egyptians living in Cairo, living by the Nile, they live by the Nile because the other parts are just desert. Okay, so tonight we're going to count the 46th day of the Omer. Let's turn to page 13. Thank you for joining us. And hopefully we'll gather some people. So let's start with the Shalom Aleichem on page 11. Shalom Aleichem. Well, we can't light candles. I hope you lit candles by yourself. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. La 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la. Narchuni l'shalom malachi hashalom malachi elyon. Mimelech malchi hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedchem l'shalom malachi hashalom malachi elyon. Mimelech malchi hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Lie, 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 lie. And at the bottom of page 13, poem by Chaim Nachman Bialik. He was not a rabbi. That's an oddity for prayer books, but he was a poet. He was one of the first poets to write in Hebrew. All around him, other Jewish poets were writing in Yiddish. He said, nah, I'm going to write in Hebrew. It's very good. And he translated Lord Byron into Hebrew. I'm sure if Lord Byron had been alive, he would have been very surprised. Although while he was alive, Lord Byron collaborated with the Jewish musician to write songs of Israel, songs like that. He was a very versatile guy, Lord Byron. He was also very adventurous. Here we go. Sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come, let us welcome Shabbat, the true queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her God's angels of peace and of rest. Come now, dear queen, with us abide. Come now, Shabbat our bride. Shalom Aleichem, angels of peace. Now we'll turn to page 14 for Yedid Nefesh. Soul-mate loving God, compassion's gentle source, take my disposition and shape it to your will. Like a darting deer, will I rush to you before your glorious presence. Humbly will I bow. Let your sweet love delight me with its thrill, because no other dainty will my hunger still. How splendid is your light, illumining the world. My soul is weary yearning for your love's delight. Please, good God, to heal her, reveal to her your face, the pleasure of your presence, bathed in your grace. She will find strength and healing in your sight. Forever will she serve you, grateful with all her might. Die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, die, yada, die, die, yada, die, die, yada, die, 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 yada, die, die, yada, die, die, yada, die, die, I don't think you'll notice it's too far away, but my books have been rearranged by my son Jordan, and amazingly, he managed to group them in more or less the correct order. And I said to Ann Beth, that's wonderful that he was able to do that. And she said, well, mostly he just grabbed a whole bunch of books, pushed them together, and then shoved them on the shelf. So what can I say? All right, let's move on. I don't want to do 15. We always do 15. Let's do page 16, because it's not 15. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Let's read responsively on the left-hand side. Sing a new song to Adonai, acclaim Adonai, all people on earth. Together, sing to Adonai, proclaim each day God's awesome might, announce to the world God's glory and wonders. For Adonai is great, deserving of praise. Adonai alone is to be revered as God. All the gods of the nations are nothingness, but Adonai created the heavens. Majesty and might accompany God. Splendor and strength adorn God's sanctuary. Acknowledge Adonai, all families of nations. Claim God's majestic power. Acknowledge God's glory and bring him tribute. Worship Adonai in resplendent reverence. Let the earth tremble in God's presence. Declare to the world, Adonai is sovereign. God has steadied the world which stands firm and judges all nations with fairness. Let the heavens rejoice, the earth be glad, let the sea and all it contains exult. Let field and forest sing for joy. Adonai comes to rule the earth, to rule the world justly, the nations with faithfulness. The last 4 lines. Yismichu Hashemayim etzagel haaretz, yiram hayam umloho, ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo. Oz yiranenu kol atzei oar, lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz. Yishpot tevel b'tzedek v'yamim b'emunato. See, that's the thing about Psalms. It doesn't rhyme. Traditional Hebrew poetry does not rhyme. But it has rhythm and alliteration. Let's take a quick look at page 16 before we move on. The literal translation of the last 4 lines that we sang. May the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad. Let the sea roar and all that it contains. Okay, that's one line. It's called parallelism, where you restate what you said in the first line, changing it slightly. May the fields rejoice and all that is in them. Then shall all the trees of the forest sing. So you see, we're still in the earthly sort of metaphor, but that is a good example of what they would call syntactic parallelism. Let's move on. Page 18. Mizmor Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash Ki Niflahot Asa Hoshia Lo Yemino Uzroa Kadsho. Reading silently on page 18. The last 4 lines on page 18. Yiramayamalo Tevel Vyoshveva Neharot Imhauha Yaharinanenu Lifnei Adonai Kiva Lishpot Haaretz Yishpot Tevel Betzedek V'yamim B'mesharim. Excuse me. Okay. Moving along. Oh, let's do on page 20. As I've said before, this is the psalm that we sing. Yes, that will be fine. We sing this when we're carrying the Torah around prior to returning it to the temple, to the ark. Mizmor leDavid, Avu l'Adonai bnei Elim, Avu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Avu l'Adonai yevod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ha'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, vayishaber Adonai et arze halavanon, vayar kidem kimo egel, Levanon v'Sirion kimo ven rehemim. Kol Adonai chosev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Vayechesof yarot, Uvehechalo kulo merkavod, Adonai lamabul yashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech liolam, Adonai oz biyamo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. That's a curious metaphor there. Second from the last line. God was enthroned at the flood. God will be king and be seated forevermore. You can imagine God sitting at the flood with the water lapping around his ankles, eventually seeking higher ground. Okay, let's turn to the L'chadodi on page 21. L'chadodi לקראת קהלה, הנה שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, בראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. Please rise and, well, you could just rise. That's fine. Oy v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uv'tzala, toch emune am segula, bohi chala. Lecha dodi לקראת קהלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. Please be seated, page 23. Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat. Responsively in the English, please. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God, to affirm your love each morning and your faithfulness each night, the music of the lute and the melody of the harp. As far as I know, the lute has 7 strings and the harp has 10, and King David was skilled on both. Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation. How vast your works, Adonai. Your designs are beyond our grasp. The thoughtless cannot comprehend. The foolish cannot fathom this. The wicked may flourish, springing up like grass. Their doom is forever sealed, for you are supreme forever. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall crumble. But me you have greatly exalted. I am anointed as with fragrant oil. I have seen the downfall of my foes. I have heard the despair of my attackers. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God. They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant, to proclaim, God is just, my rock in whom there is no flaw. And the last 4 lines in the Hebrew. Tzadi katamar yifrach hierez balevanon yeske shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuhovun beseva deshenim verabamim yehu lehagid ki ashar Adonai Suri velo havlatabo. All right, we could put the books aside for a bit, and I will share with you the message of the Torah portion. First off, this is a good thing. We have begun Sefer Bamidbar. That is the book of Numbers in English, because at the very beginning, Moses is commanded to take a census. I honestly I can't imagine Moses had great powers in speaking and intelligence and all that good stuff. But how could he possibly make the census all by himself? We'll never know. But the point is that in Hebrew, Bamidbar means in the wilderness. In English, Numbers means numbers because it is a census. This, of course, was necessary because the Israelites are wandering in the desert, in the wilderness, and they are surrounded by enemies. Some things don't change. There are the Hittites, the Hivites, the Amorites, the Jebusites, all the other sites or ites. And they had to know the reason he took the census, and mind you, he's only counting the men. Great, right? I mean, I don't agree with that, but nobody asked me. And they end up, they had to know how many fighters, how many warriors they could count on in case they were attacked. So Moses somehow gets to the conclusion that there are 603,550 men on whom he can count. They're of draftable age, from 20 to 60 years old. That means they could carry swords and spears and probably just pointy sticks, frankly. I don't think they had that many weapons. But how could they come up with such an outrageously high number, 603,550? First off, 2 explanations. Explanation number 1, it is symbolic. The number 6 means incomplete. 7, of course, is a blessed number. 7 is a sacred number. 7 times round the arm with tefillin. 7 branches on the candlestick. Oh, I don't have one here. What else? 7 planets visible in the universe in the days of the temple. In the days of the Bible. And so 6 is not as important as 7. That shows that the mission of the Israelites is not yet complete. They haven't crossed over Jordan. They haven't conquered the land of Israel. Although, unlike the story they tell you in the book of Joshua, which is where all the Israelites go slam, crash, boom, storming over the Jordan and conquering Jericho and another city which has my favorite name, Ai. How do you say that? I live in Ai. How are you feeling today? Ai. I live in Ai. Okay. But there is a more often accepted theory that the Israelites gradually filtered into the land, you see. And one day, the pagans woke up, looked out the picture window in the front of their stylish home, and said, oh my God, the Jews are here, there goes the neighborhood. Which has really been pretty much the story ever since. So, also, if you extrapolate, Rabbi Gunther Plaut, who edited the Chumash, the Reform Chumash from 1977, I have it here someplace. I don't know where he put it. Okay. But he extrapolated that if you've got 603,550 men, and each one of those men from the age of 18, really, you could get married. He has a wife and, of course, 2.5 children. One day I will, well, maybe not, ever see a 0.5 of a child. But they extrapolated from that, and Rabbi Plaut decided there must have been 1.5 million Israelites in the Sinai Peninsula for the 40-year period. How is that ever possible? The ecosystem could not support such a vast number of people. Of course, they did have the manna, which supposedly fell every morning. And they said that the scientists have done some calculating. They figured out there is a bush in the Sinai which sprouts some sort of tasty offering or something. I've never seen it. I don't know exactly of it. We know that Aaron gathered a basket of manna and kept it in the sanctuary, but that seems to have vanished over the years, or it got stale, or it melted, or something. So he counts everybody, and he counts the tribe of Levi, which contains 22,300 males, 1 month and older, and he counts it separately. Why? Well, the Levium among you will be glad to see that they are the ones chosen to serve God in the sanctuary. It says that here, back in Shemot, back in the book of Exodus, it said that God wanted the firstborn to serve him in the sanctuary. When did the firstborn lose the privilege? Well, according to tradition, the firstborn lost the privilege of serving God in the sanctuary because they were among those who sinned at the golden calf. And, well, it's kind of sad. I mean, the firstborn woke up one morning and said, oh boy, the sanctuary is done. I get to serve God. I'm a firstborn. Any firstborn here? Only borns count too? Yes? Okay, I am not good for you. I am not a firstborn. Ron, are you a firstborn? I lost Ron. He's out there somewhere. Doreen's a firstborn. Okay, cool. Yay. Well, with all due respect, you folks lost your privilege of serving God in the sanctuary, which is really all for the best. And the Levites got it, which is also why the Levium get the second Aliyah. The Kohanim get the first Aliyah, and the Kohanim and the Levium come from the same tribe. I don't understand why you can't interchange. Although it's tough being a Kohen because you're not allowed to go into a cemetery. Not that this is a good thing, but the Kohanim can only go into the cemetery and participate in a funeral, God forbid, if it's a close relative. If this person, if they're just going out of respect for a friend or a distant relative, they have to stand on the path, or better, stand outside the wall surrounding the cemetery. Okay. Furthermore, the Levites had to replace the firstborn, and apparently there were 273 firstborn who lacked a Levite to replace them. This is wonderful. This is why I'm no good at math. They had to pay a 5 shekel ransom to redeem themselves from a privilege they already lost. Hey, it's Judaism. As I say, you can't make this stuff up. How much is a shekel worth these days? I heard 24 cents. So that means you were getting slightly more, you were getting $1.25. If you were a Levite, you had to substitute for somebody else. Well, there were 4 Levite clans, apparently. I am not familiar with any of these people. Since we were driven out of Israel following the exile, following the Roman conquest and destruction of the Second Temple, we don't know what tribe we belong to. However, in those days, every tribe had one person and one flag. I mean, a person to lead them. He was called the Nasi. The Nasi in modern Hebrew means the president. In those days, it meant a prince of the tribe. As a matter of fact, when Moses wanted to spy out the land, he didn't want to. He didn't think it was a good idea. But the people were clamoring that they should spy out the land because, hey, come on, you want to know the neighborhood. Anyway, Moses appointed one prince from each tribe. There were 12 tribes, 12 Nasiim, and these spies went into Israel and they stayed there for 30 days, wandering around, checking the hills, checking the valleys, checking the produce. And of course, when they came back, were they carrying coconuts Were they carrying a monstrous bunch of grapes, or were they carrying a Buick? It was a monstrous bunch of grapes. And when you go to Israel, God willing, you will see, I don't know if they still have it. Do they still have it? The cars that belong to the tourist, the in-tourist bureau, they have the famous picture of the two fellas carrying the bunch of grapes on their shoulders. It's so big. How big is it? It's so big that they needed an enormous stick to balance the bunch of grapes. Well, what were the names? Oh, it's not 4 clans, it's 3 clans. The Kohathites, who carried the sanctuary's vessels, the Gershonites, who carried the tapestries and roof coverings, and the families of Merari, who transported the wall panels and pillars. If you've got a portable sanctuary, how can you carry pillars? Well, they weren't full-sized Roman, Ionic, Doric, or Corinthian pillars. They were little skinny things. They had to hang the cloth. They had an enormous curtain made out of linen, which they hung around the sanctuary when they were doing services and such like. And don't think they had to break down the sanctuary and set up the sanctuary every 15 minutes. No. There were many instances where the Israelites would camp at an oasis or something like that, and they would stay there for years, okay? So the 40-year sojourn was not so much sojourning. It was looking for a place where you could park the car and the kids could go in swimming, and maybe they had some food growing on a bush or something like that. Okay, now, what is the point of the census? The census teaches us that every Jew counts. I think every human being counts, but for the purpose of this talk, I'll say every Jew counts. Once upon a time, there was a small town in the Midwest, whose Jewish population was only a few families. Between them, they had exactly 10 people over the age of bar bat mitzvah. They were all very dedicated to their little synagogue, and they made sure they never missed a minyan. What we used to do in North Carolina was that if, God forbid, somebody had yahrzeit, we would do a minyan by invitation. They tried doing the so-called jury duty minyan, but people found excuses. Had to close up the shop, had to go to the supermarket, and so on. But then, lo and behold, another Jewish couple moved to the town. They had 2 more people. Were they able to gather a minyan? Actually, no. It was very sad. But because they had 12 people instead of 10, they couldn't depend on everybody, because people would say, oh, when it was 10 people, I would go. But now it's 12. They have extra. Why do I need to go? So the minyan was in dire straits until the families got together and decided what to do. In other words, when we know we are indispensable, we make a point of being in whatever place it is. For the purpose of my words, we'll say it was being in the shul, like we are now. The shul has traveled with us. You're not in your living room. You're in a miniature sanctuary, what they call Mikdash Ma'at. This week, in the Torah reading of Bamidbar, we read the census taken of the Jewish people. We always read the census on the Shabbat before Shavuot. Now, Shavuot is one of the big 3, the pilgrimage festivals, the harvest festivals. Pesach is the beginning of the harvest, that is barley. Shavuot is in the middle of the harvest, and Sukkot is the end of the harvest. Look, if I say Pesach, you say matzah, okay? If I say Sukkot, you say little grass shack, you say sukkah, or maybe the lulav and the etrog. What is Shavuot? Well, we study Torah, but we're supposed to study Torah all the time. Therefore, Shavuot reminds us of a cheese krepla. That's very important, because on Shavuot, we eat milchiks. Why? There are many reasons why we eat milchiks on Shavuot. We eat milchiks because, number one, when the Israelites were at Mount Sinai, God told them, keep kosher. And they went back to camp. They found that all their meat was treif. So they had to take a day of eating milchiks, of eating dairy, so that they could slaughter animals and make fresh meat. I know this will not sit well with our vegan friends, but it's just a story. All right, what else? What else? Oh, yes. If you eat milchiks, if you eat dairy, you are compared to a Torah scholar because in the Song of Songs, the verse says, honey and milk are under your tongue. That's Torah. When you speak Torah, it's like eating honey and milk. And that's why we eat milchiks. What else? There's maybe another reason. Chalav. Chalav means milk. Chalav is chet is 8. Lamed is 30, 38. Bet is 2. So 38, 40. Chalav, the gematria, the numerical value of the letters is 40. How many years were we in the wilderness? 40. How long did the flood last? 40. Any other 40s? Oh, yes. No, I don't want to mention that one. That's a Christian one. Okay. All right. Let's move on. What else we got here? 9 of the holiest rabbis can't make a minyan. 10 horse thieves can make a minyan, and they'll hold on to the horse while they daven. Even one bar bat mitzvah child and the minyan is complete. When we count Jews, there are no distinctions. It doesn't matter if you're rich as Rockefeller. It doesn't matter if you're poor. We need you for a minyan. We don't look at religious piety or academic achievement. The rabbi and the rebel, the philanthropist and the pauper. Everybody counts for one. This was the minyan I had in my first full-time pulpit, as I've mentioned in the past, Fayetteville, North Carolina. What happened was, one day, a man came to town. How unusual. He was an Orthodox man. He was a chassid. He had payas. He had a round hat, a kapota. He was wearing a kapota, a coat. He's wearing a strimal. And he came to see me because I was the rabbi. And he said, I want to go around to different families. They know me. I know them. And show them that I am a shaliach. I am a messenger for this big yeshiva up in New York, of course, or Cincinnati, whatever. And I said, can you prove you are an empowered shliach? He took out a binder. He took out, we used to call it a loose leaf. Remember loose leaves? Now we have binders. He showed me that every page of this loose leaf, it was tightly packed, contained a letter, a haskama. A haskama is an affirmation, an acknowledgement that Reb Yid, Mr. Jew over here, is trustworthy. He collects the money. He doesn't keep it himself. He brings it back to the Rebbe, not the Rebbe, a Rebbe, and does that. So I gave him $5. And then he went downtown to a congregant who owned a pawn shop, and he got another $5. Isn't that wonderful? But then he hit up a lot of the families of the shul because he knew them from before. And I said to him before he left, Reb Yid, we have a minyan tomorrow. 2 members of the congregation, 2 sisters, both lost a relative, a close relative. Could you please come and help us make a minyan? So he goes, I'm offering him a mitzvah. But he comes. He comes in the morning. And we, of course, have men and women, albeit sitting separately, because that congregation didn't count women in those days. And as I watch him, he's slowly inching his way to the door of the chapel. All of a sudden, for an old man, he ran pretty fast. He breaks into a run. He goes galloping down the hall. I'm chasing him, saying, Reb Yid, you're taking the minyan. We're not going to have a minyan. And he answers me, there's ladies here, which was true. So we didn't have a minyan. So I think we counted the Torah. But that was the adventure of the Chassid from New York City. Okay. So the point is, everybody is important, and we have to take advantage. There's another story I'll conclude with. What happened was a rabbi was leading a service, and he called for questions. And this lady raised a hand and said, Rabbi, I was traveling, and I needed to daven, and I came to a building that was covered with Jewish stars. So I went in, and they were so friendly. They brought me a prayer book. They brought me a talis, and afterwards we had cake. It was so nice. And you just finished telling us about the Messianic Jews. How do I know that that was a legitimate shul and not a Messianic church? And the rabbi said, because what happens in a shul? You sit down. Does anybody say hello? No. Does anybody bring you a prayer book? No. Does anybody bring you a tallis? No. So it must have been a Messianic church. The fact is that our shul is exceptional. We are welcoming. We embrace the stranger. We take them to our heart. We give them an aliyah. We give them honors. It's a wonderful thing. I am so proud of this congregation. And everything, of course, stems from our wonderful president, Ms. Rita Fleming Klein. Okay, so now we're going to do the Baruch Hu on page 28. All please rise. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Liolam Voed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Liolam Voed. Please be seated. All right, let's read. Oh, this is in honor of the Starliner. A congregant told me that the spaceship is up, and where did they go? They linked up with the space station, the International Space Station. The International Space Station, hasn't it been up there since 1982 or something? It must be getting a little long in the gills. I hope it's safe or whatever. But I'm really proud that we're back in the game again. And we're going to send astronauts to the moon. So let's read responsively the celestial reading at the bottom of page 28 on the left. Light and darkness, night and day, we marvel at the mystery of stars. Together, moon and sky, sand and sea, we marvel at the mystery of sun. Twilight, high noon, dusk and dawn. Though we are mortal, we are creation's crown. Flesh and bone, steel and stone. We dwell in fragile, temporary shelters. Grant steadfast love, compassion, grace. Sustain us, God, our origin is dust. Majesty, mercy, love endure. We are but little lower than the angels. Resplendent skies, sunset, sunrise. The grandeur of creation lifts our lives. Evening darkness, morning dawn. Renew our lives as you renew all time. Amen. On page 29, we'll read any of the selections silently. Avat olam Beit Yisroel Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot u'kimu mishpatim otanu mahadita Al ken Adonai Eloheinu shachvenu uvekumenu Moshiach v'chukecha Ruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisroel. On page 30 is the Shema. We cover the eyes. Shema Yisroel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Liholam Vohed. Let's read the English paragraph. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes, on your gates. Continuing now. On page 32 with the Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha, Vahelim Adonai. Mi Chamocha, Nedor Ba'Kodesh. Noratilot Osef Eleh. Malchut Charov Anecha, Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe, Zeli Anu V'Amru, Adonai Imloch V'Olam Vohed, V'Nemar, Kifad Adonai et Yaakov, Ugialo Miad Chazak Mimenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Goal Yisroel. Amen. Let's turn, please, to page 33. And this is, of course, the prayer that we say to the Cholim, the people who are not well. And we pray that they should have refuah shalema, quick and speedy recovery. Okay. There. All right. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us. Our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. And as we pray, we think about the folks we know in need of refuah shalema. Sonia, I saw her earlier this evening, hoping she has refuah shalema, and anyone else in need of refuah shalema. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisroel, v'al Yerushalayim, v'al kol haolam kulo. Amen. Page 34. V'shamru b'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berito lam v'shamru b'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berito lam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisroel oti liolam, oti liolam, oti liolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berito lam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berito lam. Please rise for the half Kaddish at the bottom of page 34. Hit Kadal, Hit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yalmad Yivrach Yerute, V'yamlich Malchute, V'chaye Chon Uvyomei Chon, Uvchaye Jechol Beit Yisroel. Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kari, Vimeru, Amen. Yesh Meraba Mevara, Liolam Liol Mehol Maya, Itbarach, Itbarach, Vishtabach, Vitboar, Vitromam, Vitnase, Yitadar. Yitale, Yitala, Shemei de Kudesha, Rihu, Liela, Kol Birchata, Vishirata, Tushbechata, Venechemata, Damiran, Yalema, Imeru, Amen. The Amidah, the standing silent prayer, page 36, 35b to page 38, after which you may be seated. you haven't finished the Amidah, please continue. We're going to read the English on the left-hand side, the top of page 47. The heavens and the earth and all they contain were completed. On the seventh day, God finished the work he had been doing and ceased on the seventh day from all the work that he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and called it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation. The middle of the page on the left-hand side with the matriarchs. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, v'Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, U'el HaGadol Gibor V'Nora, El Elyon Konei Shamayim V'Haaretz. Yein Avot Bidvaro, Chayei Metim B'Mamaro, Oel HaKadosh Shein Kamohu, Amen Niach Liyambo, B'Yom Shabbat Kodsho, Kivam Ratza Lihaniach Lahem, Kivam Ratza Lihaniach Lahem, Lefanav Navod B'Hirav Afachad, V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid, Me'ein HaBrachot. El Ahudahut Adon HaShalom, Mikadesh HaShabbat Umvarech Shevi, Umeniach Liyambo, B'Yom Shabbat Kadsho, Kivam Ratza Lihaniach Lahem, Li'amedu Shnei Oneg Zecher L'Maaseh V'Reshit. That's nice. 48. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, Ritzei v'Menuchateinu, Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, V'tein chelkenu b'toratecha, Sabeinu mituvecha, V'samchenu Yeshuatecha, V'taher libeinu li'avdecha v'emet, V'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava uvratzon. Shabbat kodshecha v'yanuchuva Yisroel, Mekadeshei Shemecha, Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. The full Kaddish at the bottom of 48, signifying the conclusion of the evening service. Yitkada v'yitkada Shem Rabbah. Amen. Yalmad yivrach chirutei v'yamliach malchutei, v'chayei chon uv'yimei chon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, li'olam li'ol me'ol maya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpo'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'riyachu, li'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran b'alma v'yimru amen. Yitkabal slow tone, uva'uton, t'cho Yisroel, kadam avuhon, divishmaya v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Ose shalom bimroma, hu yase shalom aleinu V'al kol Yisroel. Imru, Amen. Yasa Shalom, Yasa Shalom, Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisroel. Yasa Shalom, Yasa Shalom, Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisroel. Yasa Shalom, Yasa Shalom. Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisroel, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisroel, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Imru Amen. All right, the Kiddush. Charge your bechers. Savri Mornan Rabbanan Rabbatai, Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, Borei pri hagafen, Amen. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, Asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, V'shabbat kodsho b'yavav ratzonin chilanu, Zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit. Ito ki huyom techila lemikre kodesh secher litziat Mitzrayim. Idanu lacharta yutanu kidashta mikol hoamim v'shabbat kodshecha yavahu v'ratzon. In Chaltanu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim l'shalom of Simchas. Okay. Next is the Aleinu, but first we are going to count the Omer. The Omer is winding down, page 55. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Amen. 46, you'll find it towards the bottom of page 59. Hayom shisha v'arba'im yom, shehem shisha shavuot v'arba yamim lahomer. This is the 46th day of the Omer, comprising of 6 weeks and 4 days exactly. Okay, I'm not as good as the real thing, but hey, I give it a shot. Page 51, we have the Aleinu. Following the Aleinu, we'll say Mourner's Kaddish. I'll ask you all to please remain standing in memory of the Israelis who lost their lives. But also our dear friend Sherry Field Almaraz is observing the yortzeit of her beloved father. Let him rest in peace. The Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'teit gedula l'yotzeh breshit shelo asanu kigoye haratzot v'lo samanu kimishbechot hadama shelo sam Chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, mishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, u'shemo echad. The Mourner's Kaddish on 52. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Amen. V'yalma divra chirute, v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon v'mechon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'zman kariv, v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach, v'yolam ulmeil maya. Yitporach, v'yishtabach, yitpo'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudisha brichu, li'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'miran bi'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Ose shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru amen. Please be seated. And now we have the pleasure of some well-chosen words from our wonderful president, Ms. Rita Fleming Klein.
Okay.
Good Shabbos, everyone. I was thinking about your father too this week, Sherry, and how you spoke about him. And I always had a visual picture of him and what it means to remember a father, what it means to always have him in your thoughts. I just want you to know that I hold your father dearly in my heart. Love you very much. For everyone, a very good Shabbos and wonderful to be with you to begin Shabbos. Tomorrow, we're having a lovely celebration in Temple for Jack Bakelman's 95th birthday. And he is making one big splash of a party. And you're all welcome to come. It's always a lovely thing. His family is coming down. We're going to be together. And he has arranged for a catered luncheon from Diamond Caterers as well. When Jack celebrates, he goes all of the way. So please know that you have an open invitation to be with us tomorrow. As well, this is a special week because Thursday is Shavuot. And the observance of Shavuot, or Shavuos, as I was brought up calling it Shavuos, begins at 8:45 at the same time that our morning minyan always begins. That will be the beginning of the Shavuot observance. And of course, Shavuot has a Yizkor service attached to it too. The books of remembrance will be out. And again, you are welcome to come. We will, of course, be having a dairy brunch afterwards. And I'm sure there's blintzes and there are going to be quiches and all kinds of lovely things, definitely cheesecake as well. So we will do our brunch very traditionally. The office will be closed on Thursday. But again, if you should need us, you can always call in. Joni will be taking messages, and we'll always be there for you, no matter what day of the week it is. But I hope you will join us. Monday will be a full schedule of our canasta group and the canasta group. That's it. Thursday, we will not be having mahjong because of the Shavuot holiday. Rabbi will be having his class at 4:00 on Wednesday afternoon and at 7:00 that same evening. So you can be with us every day if you like to, and we would love to have you with us. So I wish you all a healthy, sweet, and wonderful Shabbat, and I hope to see you really soon.
Okay. The class will not meet tomorrow, the post-Kiddush class. Okay.
Right. because
Okay.
you're,
Right, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at page 54, and this is a tune we've used before. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'Chefetzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Yachare Kichlota Kol Leva Ado Yimloch Nora Behu Haya Behu Hove Behu Yeh B'Tifara Behu Yeh B'Tifara Behu Echad Echad V'Ein Sheni Laham Shilo Lehachbira V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit V'lo Haos V'Hamisra V'lo Haos V'Hamisra V'hu Eli V'chai Goali Tzur Chevli V'Yetzara V'hu Nisi Humanos Li Menat Kosi Biomekra Menat Kosi Biomekra Yahado Avki Ruchi V'Etishan V'Ahira V'Imruchi Giviati Adonai li Elohira Adonai li Elohira. Good Shabbos. Thank you so much for participating. Please rise for the closing benediction. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Yoer Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. Say Amen. Shabbat
Amen.
shalom. Shabbat
Shalom.
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 Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shabbat.
shalom.
Shabbat,
Shalom.
shalom.
Hello, Stephen.
Hi there.
Shabbat shalom.
All right.
Shabbos.
We have a nice echo effect.
Yeah, that's right.
I got rid of it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I hope
Rita,
everybody
is
has.
my- I'm
Yes.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Question for Rita. Is my memory failing me, which might be, but I think you had asked me for a photo of my mother and father when I was having yard site, maybe from my mom or when I made the plaque.
it was a long time ago.
Okay, maybe when I made those plaques.
I think I remember more a portrait of your mother, who was stunning like you
Oh,
are.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And I said she looks like you. She has there's a certain expression from you that I get about her. But I think I sent you the photo from both of them.
Oh,
I remember
maybe you
it.
can find it again and refresh my
Okay, I'll be happy to. For some reason I want you to have that.
I would love to have it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, very lovely.
You're
Nice
so
remembrance.
Yes, it's a beautiful remembrance. And you know what I was thinking? With all the news about age on the news, and this is nonpartisan, but there's so much news on the age about both parties having two old candidates and blah 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 blah. And I was thinking about our congregation. I would put up our congregation, everyone who's in their 90s and so vital, so with it, so on top of things, so experienced with
Well informed.
beautifully informed, up to date. I would say that age is no deterrent whatsoever. how many people do we know well in their 80s and 90s and and one who our beloved Rachel, who was 103, sharp as a tack. I mean, how many people do we know who are amazing because they were amazing their whole lives and they're still amazing?
Yes, yes.
I think we're very, very blessed. I really do.
Arnold, how old are you?
I'm 96.
Yay, Arnold!
Uh,
Oh, my goodness.
And he
Just
gets
like
on here
that.
on the Zoom.
I was 96 on Memorial Day.
oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Mazel tov.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And you're cute as a button too.
Oh, how nice of you, Rita. Next time I see you, get a big hug and a kiss.
Okay,
Okay.
it's a promise. I'll take you up on it.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, okay.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos,
Shabbos.
everybody.
Shabbos, thank
Take
you.
care. Stay well.
Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Good night.
Stephen,
Good
love
night.
to Gail, please.
Yes.
Bye, Hey, Gail.